Why millionaires never keep their money in the bank? Have you ever opened your banking app, looked at your savings account, and felt pretty good about yourself? Maybe you've got $5,000 saved up, and you think, you know what, I'm being responsible. My money is safe. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But here's a question. What if the very thing that makes you feel financially secure is actually making you poorer every single year? Look, I know that sounds dramatic. After all, banks are where money belongs, right? That's what we've been taught since we were kids. You earn money, you save money, you put it in the bank. End of story. Except, that's not what millionaires do. In fact, one of the biggest financial differences between the average person and wealthy people isn't how much they earn, it's where they keep their money. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your savings account the same way again. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about wealth building, investing, and the psychology of money. If you're someone who's trying to save more, invest smarter, and build long-term financial freedom, make sure to subscribe and like this video if it helps you. Because today we're talking about one of the biggest money myths in modern society. The myth that keeping your money in the bank is always the safest option. And here's what most people don't realize. The rich aren't obsessed with protecting money. They're obsessed with making money productive. And those are two very different things. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine two people, Sarah and Michael. Both have $100,000. Sarah puts her money into a traditional savings account earning 0.5% interest. Michael invests his money in a diversified portfolio earning an average of 8% annually. Now you might be thinking, sure, investing earns more, everybody knows that. But stick with me, because the math gets ridiculous. After 20 years, Sarah's money grows to roughly $110,000. Michael's money grows to over $466,000. Same starting amount, different location. One decision created a gap of more than $350,000. Think about that. Neither person worked harder. Neither got a raise. Neither started a business. The difference was simply where the money lived. And that's the first lesson wealthy people understand. Money is like an employee. If it's sitting around doing nothing, you're paying for it. If it's working, it's producing value. Most people treat money like a prized possession. Millionaires treat money like a workforce. Every dollar has a job. Every dollar needs to earn its keep. Now let's talk about something even more dangerous: inflation. Because inflation is the invisible force that quietly steals wealth from people who think they're being responsible. Historically, inflation in the United States has averaged around 3% per year. Some years it's lower, some years it's much higher. But let's use 3%. Imagine you have $100,000 sitting in a bank account earning 1%. Sounds okay, except inflation is rising at 3%. That means your purchasing power is actually shrinking by about 2% annually. You aren't getting richer, you're getting poorer. You just don't notice it because the number on your screen stays the same. This is one of the most deceptive things about money. People focus on dollar amounts. Millionaires focus on purchasing power. A millionaire doesn't ask, how much money do I have? They ask, what can this money buy me in 10 years? That's a completely different mindset. And it's one of the reasons wealth tends to compound for the wealthy while everyone else struggles to keep up. Here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think rich people are taking huge risks with their money, flying around on private jets, making wild stock trades, betting millions on startup companies. And sure, some do. But many millionaires are surprisingly boring. Research from large studies of self-made millionaires consistently finds that many build wealth through long-term investing, diversified assets, and disciplined saving. Not through gambling, not through chasing trends, not through trying to get rich next week. The average person sees investing as risky. The millionaire sees not investing as risky. Read that again. The average person sees investing as risky. The millionaire sees not investing as risky. That's a psychological shift that changes everything. Because once you understand inflation, compounding, and opportunity cost, keeping large amounts of money idle becomes uncomfortable. It's like watching workers stand around all day while you're paying them full salaries. You know something is being wasted. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine inherited around $200,000 several years ago, and he did what most people would do: Nothing. He parked it in a bank account. He told himself he'd invest later. Later became 6 months, then a year, then 3 years, then 5 years. By the time he finally invested, inflation had quietly eaten away a significant portion of the money's purchasing power, and the market had gone through one of the strongest growth periods in decades. He didn't lose money, but he lost opportunity, and opportunity is often more expensive than failure. That's one of the hardest lessons in personal finance. People obsess over avoiding losses. Millionaires obsess over avoiding missed opportunities. Because a missed opportunity compounds just like an investment does, except in reverse. Every year you wait creates another year you'll never get back.